Capricorn, I have been talking to you guys for like 10 minutes and I didn't even hit record. So hi again. I'm just gonna start over. That's so funny. So hi Capricorns, it's Keegan. Welcome to your reading. This is for Capricorn Sun, Moon, Venus, and Rising signs. I just totally almost finished your reading and then I realized it wasn't recording. So I'm a little bit, we're just gonna let's regroup. Okay, so these readings are gonna be a little bit shorter. That's on purpose. I'm trying an experiment to see doing shorter readings, what you guys think about that. So I'm asking at the beginning for you to take a moment, just leave me a comment, give me some feedback about what you think about these. I was on a roll too. I was like, this is so good. None of it was recorded. So I have cards here. When I'm looking down here, I'm looking. I've already pulled some cards out of an oracle deck for you guys. And it's kind of funny that I messed that up and didn't record it because it fits with the theme of this reading. So the other thing that I said for you guys before, which, you know, I'll just repeat it here because it's important. My rising sign is Capricorn. And so you might have noticed I tend to save Capricorn readings for the end. They're usually the last video that I upload. And the reason for that is because I tend to get a lot of really useful guidance from the Capricorn readings that I do. And so I save them. I just save you guys for the end. It's not that I don't care about you guys or I deliberately put you last. It's just kind of like, it's a nice way for me to wrap up what I'm doing to do the reading for my own rising sign. So again, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Venus, and Rising. This is me included as a Capricorn rising. I'm going to switch you guys over to the overhead really quickly so you can see the cards. I do just want to let you know, if you're interested in a personal reading with me, all the information for personal readings is in the description box below. So let's do this again. Okay, Capricorns, dead center here is where I want to start. You have a card. It's just a black card. It says nothingness. I don't necessarily love the design or the name of this particular card, but the energy of this is really about not really allowing things to shift, not really allowing things to change, wanting to kind of keep things the way that they are, keep things the way that they've been, really kind of being in a space where there's not room for newness, okay? And that's kind of the grounding energy. The amplifier for this card that I'm feeling is this card next to it, which is about guilt. And this is really about overthinking things, kind of being trapped in the fear or the worry or the concern that if you do something different, if you try a different approach, that things might not go well, right? There's something going on here with this card in the center about, I know that if I do this, if I do these things, that I know that I have a certain amount of success that I can be certain of. And I don't necessarily want to risk losing that, right? But the thing that happens here, when you're in the space of not really allowing yourself to try things differently or to take a different approach or to maybe shift your focus or shift, you know, priorities, is that you're really not allowing for new to come in. You're not allowing there to be space for things to be created, for opportunities to be presented, for people to show up, right? The rest of the cards, everything around those two cards is really about wanting, there are things that are wanting to come in for you. But it's being blocked by sort of this hesitation on your part to allow things to be different, to kind of rebel against what it is that you've known, okay? Now, one thing that I want to talk about first is these two cards, and again, I'm kind of having deja vu here because I already said all this to you. It just wasn't recorded. But this is an area where I want to spend a little bit of time with you because you have the existence card. And this is really about being in a place where you're just allowing yourself to be. You're sitting in where you're at and you're allowing yourself to get guidance. You're allowing yourself to really spend time focusing on what it is that you want to manifest, what it is that you want to create. You're trying to get clarity and guidance about different things. And I do feel like you are trying to do that, right? You're trying to get yourself into that space, but this is kind of overwhelming it. And the other thing too is the energy with this card. So this card says laziness, and I'll just show it to you, right? The thing is, it's not being lazy. You're not being lazy when you're sitting in just being, when you're trying to listen, when you're trying to be guided, when you're trying to open yourself up, when you're trying to think about what do I want to pull in? What is the next chapter? What's the next journey? That's not being lazy. That's actually really working really hard to try to figure out what is the next thing, right? This laziness card actually in this deck, it's I love this card because they call it laziness, but this is equal to the Nine of Cups. This is being in a place where we've manifested the life that we want, where we can sort of kick back and enjoy the spoils of our efforts, right? This is about being in a place where we look at things and say, hey, you know what, maybe instead of trying to work and work and work and try to be have things feel like it's constant hard work, maybe I should just take a moment to look around and be grateful for the things that I have, to take a look and realize that what I'm actually doing here is I'm trying to create the ideal life. I'm trying to create a life that brings me happiness. It makes me feel like it makes me feel fulfilled. It makes me feel that the hard work has been worth it. Right? It's interesting too, and I mentioned this before when I was talking to myself and not to you guys, but this feels very much in line with the energy of the recent Capricorn readings. I don't always remember all the details about the readings because I need to clear my mind and clear the energy after I do them, and so I kind of develop amnesia. But I do remember some of the recent Capricorn readings. It was about this energy of realizing that you've put in a lot of hard work, you've put in a lot of effort, and now you're kind of allowing yourself to look at things and say, okay, and what else do I want? Right? This is a place where you're opening yourself up for other things to come in, right? To have some fun, right? It can't be all work all the time. You have to allow yourself to have fun. You have to allow for other people to come in, whether that's you looking for a potential romantic partner, whether that's you just looking for friends, whether you're just trying to bring people in. But this feels like a situation where you're kind of in conflict right now between, it's almost like you've had your eyes on something for so long, and that's been the objective and that's been the goal for so long, that you almost feel like if you allow yourself to look elsewhere, right, to focus on other things, that you might lose this, but that isn't going to happen. It isn't going to happen. You've done what you need to do to create the stable foundation. And so now what you need to do is to allow yourself to build upon that foundation and build upon it in a way that is balanced, right? So it's not all work. It's work. And when you're in work mode, you're really focused on that and you do what you do and you plug away. But then when it's time to focus on other people, or it's time to focus on fun, or it's time to focus on allowing yourself to just have that downtime to focus on what it is that you want to create, what it is that you want to manifest, giving yourself that opportunity to do that is really important, right? So I like this energy for you. The only, the two things that I want to talk about is don't get in your head too much or make yourself feel guilty when you're doing things that are beneficial to your goals, but don't necessarily fit that like task-oriented, check the, to-do list, right? If you need to have it be like that, then put it on your list, right? Actually on your schedule, put like 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., visualizing and manifestation exercises, right? If you need to have it be on the list, put it on the list, but you need to realize that those things are as big of a priority as those action-oriented, like goal-driven Capricorn sort of things, right? It doesn't feel to me like you're, it doesn't feel like it's too present right now, but I think there's a potential for you to deprioritize these things in order to focus on production, right? Being able to show, that's what it is, right? You want to be able to show results based on the time that you've put into them. And this sort of stuff doesn't happen immediately unless you put a lot of time into being able to really speed up your ability to manifest and pull things towards you, right? So it takes a little bit of time and it takes effort and it takes consistency. And so if you're not allowing yourself to have that, if you're not allowing yourself to have like a consistent daily focus on manifesting, requesting abundance, healing things, clearing stuff, dealing with your feelings, dealing with wrong, if you're not giving yourself that space, then you're never going to really be able to like speed that process along. And so it's always going to feel like, okay, but I spent this many hours on this stuff and I don't have anything to show for it. Well, you don't have anything to show for it because it's taking time to come to you, because it's not part of your regular routine, because you're trying to stick to what's worked for you in the past. And where you're at right now, Capricorn, is really being called forward into trusting that you can take all of that knowledge, all that information that has worked for you in terms of getting you success in the past. You can take all of that determination, that hard work, that, perseverance that you're known for, and you can implement that into something that is much more spiritual in nature. And like I said, I resonate with all of this, and maybe that's why I didn't hit record, because I needed to hear this twice myself. But all in all, I think you're in a good place. It's really just about allowing yourself to have some wiggle room for fun, allowing yourself to have some space where you just take a breath and relax, right? It's really, really important. And it's not something that is wasted time. It's actually very valuable time to allow yourself to have that. Okay. So if this resonated with you in terms of that energy, if this makes sense to you, if you're nodding your head along with me, hang out for just a couple more minutes. We're going to grab a tarot deck here. I did pre-shuffle this, but I'm going to shuffle a little bit here since we've talked and we've been in your energy. I just want to mix these up a little bit more. We're going to pull 4 cards. We'll talk about each of them individually, and then we'll wrap this up by pulling an oracle card for advice or guidance for you around this reading. All right, let's see. First card out for you, Capricorn, we have the Fool. So again, what is the Fool about? It's about taking chances. It's about allowing for new things to come in, new beginnings, new adventures, taking a different path, allowing for newness to come in. It's the opposite of that nothingness card, right? This is saying to you, be willing to be open, be willing to take chances, be willing to allow things to change, be willing to be a little bit spontaneous, and not have fear around that, right? Allow that newness to come in. I'm going to turn a big stack of cards here. I'm going to shuffle a couple of times. Cards that needed to flip. The other thing I want to say with this Fool card, for some of you, you had that friendliness card earlier in the spread. And like I said, that's equal to the Two of Cups. And with the Fool card coming out as well as for that, for those of you who are in a situation where you're looking for a potential romantic relationship, perhaps you're newly in something that is turning into a romantic relationship, I just want to acknowledge that both of those cards were upright, and I do think that this is something that has potential and something that could work out for you if that's something that you are actually dealing with. And I sense for those of you that you're like, yeah, that's me, part of what's happening is this person is actually encouraging you to be more open to having fun, being more open to being happy, being more open to being a little bit, less serious, and, allowing for that lightness to come in. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing that they're present, right? So just embrace that. It bothers you. It freaks you out. We have the Nine of Swords here coming out reversed. With this card being reversed, so here's what I'll say. You're getting over it. It's a lot for you to deal with, and it's really pushing you, and it's challenging for you. But you're in a situation where you're learning to navigate it, right? And just keep going with that. Again, I don't think this is something that you can just flip a switch and suddenly you're like the super chill, go with the flow type of person. That's not necessarily your personality. It's not how you're wired. One of the strengths of your sign that you can always depend on is your ability to really work hard and persevere and have success. That's this big, huge trait of Capricorn. And so you can't turn that off, but you can realize that you can take that same energy and you can apply it to allowing for fun, for allowing for happiness, for allowing for spontaneity, for allowing for spirituality. You can take all of those things that, drive you towards success, and you can focus on having success in balancing your life out. Okay? So I like that's reversed. I do feel like it's, a little bit challenging for you. Two of Wands showing up here. Again, it's upright. This is kind of energy that feels like, it almost feels like you're running some tests. Capricorn. It's like, okay, well, I'll see what happens if maybe, you know, what might happen if I, you know, don't work on the weekend. What happens if I, you know, don't check my emails on the weekends? You come back in, you realize nothing burned down, nothing went wrong. You actually had a really good weekend. You got things done, or you just were able to relax, right? The energy of this feels like trying something and then looking at it and seeing, okay, what's going to happen, right? And then when you see that it's something that you can trust, then you start to integrate it and allow it to be part of your routine. All right, let's get your last card out here, and then we'll do your oracle card. Love this. 10 of Cups. Capricorn, you're well on your way to creating the type of life that you want, of being really happy and content and feeling like things are balanced. Again, for those of you who are dealing with a relationship, you've had the 2 of Cups, the Fool, and now the 10 of Cups show up in this reading. So you're in a situation where you found something that has a lot of potential, something that I think has brought a lot of joy and happiness into your life. If you're not someone who's actively in that, just know that there's potential all around you if you decide that you want that. Okay, but you have to make room for it. You have to allow for it to have its own space. You have to be able to focus on it. So for some of you, you might just be holding back on that until you feel like you can put in the effort that you want. Okay, that card just fell right out. We're going to take this as your oracle card. Let's see what we have here. So there's nothing sexier than my authentic truth. So Capricorns, I really do feel like you're in a space where you're willing to try new things. You're willing to embrace going against what has been and just seeing what happens. It almost feels like an experimental phase in a very Capricorn fashion, where it's somewhat controlled and there are parameters around it. You know, you're not just sort of tossing everything aside and being wild about it, but you're settling into realizing that there are different facets to you. There are different aspects of your personality that maybe you haven't been allowing out, or maybe they have been stifled because you've been very much in like production mode. And the more that you can settle into just who you authentically are and allowing yourself to fully express all aspects and sides of yourself, the more you're going to settle into this, and the more the energy of the Fool and the 10 of Cups is going to show up for you. And you're going to just start to feel like, wow, you know what, I can really play with this, and I can boost what I've already built, and I can make that bigger, and I can scale it up, and I can increase the happiness, and I can bring other people in to celebrate and enjoy what I've created with me, right? So I like this for me and for you. So Capricorns, thanks for hanging out with me. Thank you for being patient as I just realized I tend to put you guys last, and maybe I'll switch that up the next time. Maybe I'll start with you guys. And do please take a moment just to leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about this reading, if it resonated with you. So many people have just said this feels so concise and direct, and they're loving these shorter readings. So let me know what you think. Even if you don't agree with them, I want to hear feedback, okay? If you have some time, please just take a moment, leave me comments. Click like, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. All of those things help to boost the videos, to help them spread to other people who need to hear the messages. And be on the lookout for some things during March. Like I said, this reading resonated with me. I'm trying some different things in March. I am experimenting a little bit with the channel because I'm approaching my 2-year anniversary here on YouTube. And so it's time to reevaluate things and see what's been working and what hasn't, and to allow for new things to flow in for me and for you, the people who tend to watch my videos. I want it to feel like, we're growing, and part of growth is allowing for new things to come in. So be on the lookout for that, and also just for more tarot readings during the month of March. So thank you, Capricorns.